here by Pozdro. You saw those two tanks at the rails. It was Conrad and it was his buddy Yozi. They were there, but they pulled back just in the nick of time towards F2, and now it's a real big issue for the boys of Lost Peoples, because that T100 Mojo has not been spotted and is not spotted still. 15 seconds separate Lost Peoples from a 3-0 deficit, as that T100 is chilling. KPRK there, just chilling in the bushes, not spotted whatsoever, and the T100 actually working out amazingly on the cap here. And Pozdro coming out ahead. The push wasn't the greatest, but some of the end game decisions were pretty good though.
Yeah, extracting those tanks from the center and putting T100 VZ in a cap, definitely a good choice. I was really
left F6 by 10 seconds maximum. They just ran away when they pushed over the rails.
I literally think that the chance for Lost Peoples here was to actually delete the CS63 and then come strong with everyone from multiple sides. Like this, they were shot in the back, they were spotted, they were shot in the front. They really had no way to deal with the cap properly. They didn't have enough forces. Like, they didn't even kill that I7 that was on 500 HP on time, I think. I mean, it just like backfired on them in such a big scale, because that gameplay was too static from the very get-go, from the very start, and they were even rewarded by a bunch of mistakes that Pozdro did. That's the only reason why this came so close.
I get that they were baiting with the I7 in middle, that their Steins didn't want to covering, and that they wanted to eliminate the I7 to then split the map in half, right? But then they have to make sure that they connect the shots with all the tanks. Because now this I7 took basically virtually no damage in the beginning whatsoever. And I would say that the I7 of Blacksmite even misplayed a lot, because you saw how he was in that position.
He tried to run away. He
tried to run away. And what happened because he ran away? What happened? The S-Kung peeked over and started shooting him in the side. I think if he stays after he took so little damage under that little ridge there, where they fully have to pay way more. He would live. Orchek would not live for that. Orchek would die for that play, and they would have killed 2 IS-7s for nothing.
Well, that's a moment of panic, and that's again an experience that we talk about. Like, sometimes you, as a player in higher levels, you know that you really must endure some damage in some position, because eventually it will be beneficial in a longer run. But it's a split-second decision. Like, once you press the W, it's already over anyways. So the result is clear at the moment. Pozdro leads really deservingly 3-0. Like, they stumble from here to there, like, they make mistakes, yes.
The execution,
that's why they're on lower bracket.
The execution wasn't perfect, but...
it was never a question.
No, but they deserve to be up 3-0, because Lost Peoples hasn't shown us enough to actually deserve or warrant any of the rounds so far. You know, round 1, they ran out of time because they made their move to slow. Round 2, a very standard defense that got read by Pozdro quite easily.
With a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, round 3, this Proco, big openings they left in their defense, big gaps as well, that got exploited, not 100%, but got exploited nonetheless. So they don't deserve a round so far, but let's see if they can deserve the next one. Already, they're bringing a 2-6-1. This will make them... it's been a while. It's been a while.
Okay, I haven't seen an art in 7-on-7 in a long time. Like, I think probably last time maybe on Steps or something like that. But let's see how they plan to actually utilize this 2-6-1 and survive. I mean, Pozdro does have an STRV, but still, even STRV can be pushed forward and take offensive position to snipe, while the rest of the guys are clawing into the enemy. Like, this is kind of setup we camp and hope that enemy comes to us or something.
Yeah, well, there's of course the need for Pozdro, but the Pozdro lineup is not that good at pushing though.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, but still, even STRV can be placed forward in forward position, so he can cover the push of his friends. I mean, having 3 I7s is really strong to play the push.
I thought he was going to go over the rails for a second there. made me real worried for his life. The double I7 does get spotted out though by Pozdro. Konrad and Kubash have been spotted. They know that Pozdro might want to try and clear the hill.
You know that this game could have been already over. Like, if Pozdro actually decided to pressure the middle, there would be nothing properly to stop them from both sides. The RT would die, the
Nice shot,
the
nice shot.
there would die.
Did you notice his ammo loadout, by the way, Modro?
I didn't.
4 HE shells, I think. Then 4 or 8. 4, 7, 8. But the 261 has 20 shells, no? So he had 4, 8, 8. Ooh, NK taking 800 damage run away. So 8 AP shells. Like 8 AP shells. Those do, I don't know, like 500 or something? 400, 500? I don't know. But he would need to actually hit those.
And pen. I'm going to remind that.
I think the penning is not that hard. I think it has a high pen, but it's the hitting.
No. Like, I remember, even in the old times, you know, when the AP shells, you could actually do humongous damage on tanks. The gimmick was because often you just track them. That's the biggest problem. Like the biggest
I will say
problem
though,
was
but look
always
at the
just tracking people.
Look at the way that Pulsar is set up right now. Yosi is all by himself, and Conrad is also not in the best position there in his I7. This Skunk is really isolated on A2.
He is, but that would require the effort of at least minimum 2 tanks to dig him out. Minimum.
He is spotted now. Woo! How much was that? 266, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I think Pazuri should be in K1 already, by the way. Cause
I mean, with feed modifications, there is a one on heavy tanks that you like can take less HE damage or more. But when you spec a tank for tournament, you don't expect like RT stuns and whatever, you know. So you probably spec it against it, so you can even take more, I guess.
He misses that one though, and now. Actually, Pazuri is in trouble here as Pozdro is pushing off the hill. Orchek, Kubash. This did not come as a surprise to Lost Peoples as the girls is getting focused out here, which is not very nice from Kubash and Orchek. As Kubash is now trying to ram, NK does not achieve it. Orchek tries the same, does not achieve it either. They want to pick up the CS first. But now Pazuri is actually spotted in the ID as well and not able to run away. 8k HP left. An interesting gimmick, but not one that is delivering any results at this moment in time.
I mean, 8-minute game and playing with RT sounds insane. It's gimmicky, but maybe they just chose it as their farewell game. Girls is going to get picked up very soon. That sounded maybe a bit wrong. T100 is battling against Yoje in that A2 corner. So as I said, like 2 guys are bare minimum to deal with this conk here. And most people are just falling apart everywhere where we watch.
Yeah, they're basically dead. Mojo Yosi picks up Sophia. Pazuri is going to be the next one falling, most likely. And then Cody is going to be the last one. And Pozdro making it the clean sweep in the lower bracket. They got dominated by Holovanitsi and sent to the lower bracket where they dominate in return. Lost Peoples on the run, and they're going to be running all the way back home. They're actually home already because their story in this tournament has ended. Their first showing on the big stage. Maybe we'll see them again in the near future. Congratulations for even making it so far to begin with, which is more than a lot of clans like Fame can say. Because, you know. Wait, I'm not supposed to go against my own. Sorry, I just, you know, I got caught in the Polish vibe a little bit. You know, at least we have Shokish. At least we have Shokish still in the representing.
At least there is enough players of Fame who can understand, like, explain to people is Fame in trouble or something like that. You know, you can make a little mini debate here.
Yeah, I forgot for 1 second I was in Fame mode. You know what I mean? You know, with all these Polish teams playing, I almost felt myself playing in Invil. You know, Polska Gurum, Shema. See, I'm already there, dude. The mentality is set. I've also glued my W key stuck to my keyboard all the way.
Well,
but yeah,
this was like a depressing ending.
422, by the way.
I guess.
For that RD, he fired like 4 or 5 times. I think it was 4 or 5. It does 400 damage. I mean, it looks like it really looks. It really 7 times actually. Never mind, dude. That's like he had level performance there. Not gonna lie. It's yeah. I don't know what it's supposed to achieve. I mean, maybe if you hit some dying snipes, wicked 360 no scopes.
I guess they just try to hit some fun or something like that.
Maybe
The last game. I mean, I
Maybe.
don't see a different.
But if
reason.
I was having fun and I would pick Artie in a tournament, I'd load AP though, to be honest. Or I'd pick a T92 because more did you know that the non-stun tree from the T92 is actually disgusting. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say this on stream. I should shut my mouth because now there's gonna be people that play randoms with the non-stun tree on T92 and they realize they hit for 700 whenever they hit something. It's very fun.
I never heard it from you, so I'm just gonna ignore it, right?
If you see me just in random, just don't shoot me, please. I'm a good friend with Dr. Nick's, ID players, right?
Dr. Nick's best friend, as long as he doesn't shoot me, man.
Exactly, man. I said that. Somebody asked me about Nix. I was like, Nix is a great guy. I love him, but I absolutely hate him as an ID player. So yeah, but yeah, for Lost Peoples, that was it. Too standard, I would say.
Yeah, it doesn't look really well prepared. Like it just looks like they managed to get here, but they can't cross this last hurdle. So that would require a bit more practice and experience. So usually teams that kind of endure it and play 2 or 3 tournaments, they get a hang of what to do. Like we will see, are these guys like a one-trick pony or they are those kind of guys?
Yeah, we'll see if they come back in the next one as well. I mean, they come to the big stage once, they will realize their mistakes now, what they did wrong. Mainly, it's I think the indecisiveness that they have to work on as well. For example, on the Proco that you said, also. Yeah, on the Proco not killing the CS on the hill, for example, or on the Tundra and the attack, right? Where it took them too long. They established position, but good teams only need a limited amount of time, and they needed like double that to actually make a move.
Well, I don't know, like, what was their idea with all of that? We saw what the result was. Like, I hope, like, Geekend and Insane will have a better idea with it. I was always, like, from the very start thinking, like, what is that fire behind the key actually cooking, But it remains to be seen, and I really hope I will get an answer, like, is Fame in trouble or something? Because there is 3 of you. You can literally make a debate here and argue about it.
I don't know. Fame has always been in trouble since its creation. But Mojo, again, enough from you and me. He had an insane. Take it away.
Well, hello there, and thanks again for the awesome casting. Now, for the guy behind me, he's cooking some very, very nice goulash. The leftovers of my food yesterday. Exquisite, I can say. Not the same to be said about the match that we just watched. Lost Peoples getting, for lack of a better word, demolished here by Postro in the lower bracket.
Well, that was probably expected. Lack of experience, you could see it in the tactics, you could see it in the rotations. And Postro, they were just stronger. The experience, also the players, the team play, it was hard for them against all of Nitsi, but against that team, that was a pretty easy matchup, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess we now saw why there is a reason as to why teams don't really pick Artie any longer. No impact at all in the last game here.
I mean, if the format was 768, I would maybe pick the Artie if that was 10 minutes, but when it's a tier 10 Artie with 8 minutes to work only, that's definitely not a good pick. They decided to try something that didn't work. At least I guess we're not going to see Artie again in that format, and that's not a bad thing.
I mean, yeah, they tried some new things, but in the end, Postro just proving too strong here. Yet another clean sweep, so that means we have seen a combined amount of rounds of, I believe, 12-1 today. Let's hope it doesn't continue this way for the next match, which is upcoming. It is the German team of chess, and regarding basically the question of whether Fame is in trouble, I can confirm it is indeed not so, as Fame is the only team so far confirmed to have 3 people participating in the finals. And yeah, here we see the updated bracket now. Postro obviously claiming their victory now against Lost Peoples. We're going to see them tomorrow in the lower bracket match against the winner of match 4, which is upcoming after the upper bracket finals, which is going to be Holovnitsi against Inbilgo. Now for the match 4, which is upcoming, what do you expect?
Well, CSA they didn't bright, to be fair, against Go. So I hope that they had time to recover to actually get their mind fixed for that match. Because chess, they probably watched their match, they probably prepared according to it, they probably adjusted according to it, and they have experienced players. They have, for example, Shokish, that is like a main player in the Fame team when they decide to participate, and he's definitely probably was watching them play against Go. So myself, I would say that chess they have a really good shot. I would even expect them to win that match against CSA, but we know CSA they're capable of turning things, and they're capable of coming back very strong against them and surprise us. That's what we're looking for, also.
I mean, personally, I'm mostly looking for a close match in between both of those because so far we've been seeing close games, but not really close matches. So that would be a treat for me to watch personally. Now, here we go, hopping into the replays from Pozdro against Los Pipos. And I've seen that Los Pipos attack once already, but the thing is, they just weren't able to catch a break. They took damage everywhere they went, and it seems like Pozdro was just a step ahead, or the rotations from Los Pipos were too slow.
I mean, as you could see, the time it was only 3 minutes left where their actual push came into action to take control over that base 2. You had a double VZ for the burst damage on that cross. They didn't do much, only 2 shots out of the 4 they could give, but in return, that I7 out of the fight, that S-Conk out of the fight, especially this guy on A3 that is in a Z pick up. And then from the side of Los Peoples, you had to just gamble and just play all in for the cap. But from the side of Pozzo, the tanks were on time to catch dues. So that was just a clean and easy win from the defensive team, just utilizing the time. But at the same time, it was Los Peoples also being very, very slow on the rotations.
Yeah, and that's what we've mentioned basically time and time again for good, or what makes good teams aspire to being great teams is that their reaction speed and also their playing together, their cohesiveness just is there. We didn't really see that from Los Pipos. Their reactions, they seemed slow. The communication seemed slow, at least from the outside. We don't know how much was going on their TeamSpeak there. But yeah, it just all wasn't really that great. And here we see the double batcher trap in the south. Obviously, the Kuba in his CS is not able to spot that. But really, Postro obviously not falling for any sort of trap here. They just methodically work their way up. They identify the weakness. The Batchat has rotated up by now, but the HP, they are even, but the overmatch for the guns, it's just there for the Polish team.
Yeah, they took their time. They established positions. They found the weakness, like you said, of the match on the north with all of those tanks. They took it. That was clean. Only this 60 TP left on the middle, covered by the CS from the hill. So there were no tanks from the side of Pozo that were completely isolated and alone, like that I7 you could see from the side of Los Pipos. And that was a really clean victory on the attack. And they were that way taking the lead 2-0 straight. And that was probably the time where it was even harder for Los Pipos to stay in that match, because the lack of experience, maybe lacking a bit of motivation after taking a 2-0 straight. We were then, as you could see on Prohorovka, very passive and weird defense from the side of Los Pipos. I guess the only way to play with this is to just bait and gamble that the team is going to push water. But as Mocho mentioned, that Tihunda initially spotting aggressive over the 8-9 lines was a bit of a gift from the side of Los Pipos to tell Pozo where they are possibly. This push was not the greatest from the side of Pozo. They lost a lot of HP, but the positions, they held the hill, they won the 1-2. That Tihunda from Sofia, that was a bad play, he got caught. That was risky, good that the fighter was here. And then all the positions from Pozo were fine. They had the crossfire, they had this Tihunda playing over the hill line, outspotting the enemy tanks. And that was just good from the side of the Polish team.
Yeah, at this point in time, Los Pipos even up a lot of HP. But the positions, they are just in Pozdro's favor. Now Sofia getting caught out here in the T100. That's going to lose them all map control on the western side. And now Pozdro, they just need to get the resets. But the problem is by doing so, they're exposing themselves to the E3, E4 positions in the ditch. Just one S-Conk and one 5A, both tanks with great DPM set up there to punish any attempt at resets. And we see NK getting melted here in this CS. At this point, it was, over.
they had to gamble, I think. Los People's, their only chance was to just gather tanks and push the zero line before they actually let Polsro take that cap, because that's a very obvious and easy play from the side of the Polish team. Just pressure the base one. So they had to try to push that zero line, take off this tank, and then rotate all the way around to get the decaps. And sadly, they decided to push over the EF, and they just got drawn into crossfires.
And now on we go to the last game in between both of those teams, and a tank pick, or can we say tank? SPG pick, which probably no one really expected. Pazuri, I think his nickname in-game is actually Pazuri Insta Artipelis, so yeah, I guess, but the impact that we saw from the tier 10 tank,
well, maybe you were there to entertain the viewers with some AP pen shots, but there were basically none. And you could see Polsro, they were just sitting in pretty good positions against that. They probably watched the replays, because apparently those people, they actually played that tactic during the group stage. So that was pretty easy for the Polish team to just adapt. And then they had that easy push on the zero line. I mean, you're playing with a Nazi, you're playing with a Tihunda, you basically don't have any combat tanks, you don't have any possibilities against this lineup from Polsro. It was pretty much over since the start just because of the lineups.
Yeah, I mean, we are just watching the demise of Los Pipos on the run here. Sofia, second last tank to get picked up in this game, and now just Cody and Pazuri and his RT getting picked up by a T100 light tank. How else could it be? And now Cody, the last one in this match and in the tournament here for Los Pipos, which obviously are the first team we have to unfortunately say a goodbye to here. Nevertheless, as one of the casters said it, congratulations for even making it this far. And now we are left with 5 out of 6 teams, but we're not done yet. We are about to watch another one get picked off. Which one do you think it is going to be? Is it going to be the German team of chess, or is it going to be the Czech team of CSA?
I mean, picking CSA to me is always a gamble, unless they play against a team like Los Pipos. Maybe I would favor them, come on. But against chess, they had time to watch them play. They know what they're playing. I said it earlier, they have an experienced player like Shokish that is capable of understanding their playstyle and adapting over it, and he's probably taking over the team for the playoff. So I'm gonna go with chess, to be honest. I think I voted 4-2 for them, but CSA, they can always surprise us after all.
All right, I've gone with 4-3 for CSA just because I want the match to be close. But yeah, we are going to find out the truth right here, right now, as we're going to hop back over to the caster's desk my goodness, the caster's desk to find out if Shokish is in trouble.
Kihan there having a little bit of issues. Before you know it, he's going to start saying FV 212121 5B heavy. That is also a thing that I keep getting reminded of every day. It's very fun. Sometimes speaking is indeed hard, as we just noticed with Kihan, and sometimes being insane. I think maybe the fact Shokish is in fame has something to do with him leaning towards chess. I don't see it happening personally. What do you think, Mojo?
I think you Fame guys are totally known for not being biased at all.
Me, I am the most unbiased caster World of Tanks history has ever seen.
Well, anyways, we are seeing a German against a Czech confrontation here, chess versus CSA. We've seen this CSA showing up to do a 0 game against Invil us like a game before, but as I already said, something like that already happened on previous tournament, and yet they still play the finals. So I would never discard these guys. Chess, as already Kihan mentioned, they carry the flag of a chess clan, and the only guy from chess is Chess Gini, the leader of the clan. Everyone else is from various different German clans, mainly Tilt, as far as I saw. Yeah, and Fame, one player from Fame.
I mean,
that totally matters, right?
Fabian is in Fame, technically, Shakafa.
Okay.
It's technically in Fame, because I think he's in Tilt for the campaign. So,
what flag they carry at the moment?
Killer Pit also? It's 3?
Not everyone can be a hired mercenary, you know?
Now that I predicted against them, I'm going to say that Fabian and Killer Pit are not Fame players. It's just Shokish. So if we lose, it's only because we only had one Fame player, and not even half the team. Good call, Mojo. Good call. I like it. Lineups, IS7, Kran, Eskunk, E5, Bat, and Leopard 1. played by Fiber. And it's weird that Fiber's playing the Leo, Mojo. He doesn't even have 5k DPG on it. But then again, he couldn't play the E5 because he doesn't have 5k on that either.
Well, Leo is amazing tank for this map, I would say, but let's see what are they opting for. CSA is doing a really standard. Here you have to pretty much pick on start. Do you want to defend like more 2 cap or 1 cap? You can't really do both.
This camo looks almost like it actually looks like it doesn't even look like a chessboard. It looks more like the checkers line of a race.
It does actually.
You know, it doesn't really remind. It reminds me
It
more
does
of like
also
a
look
flag.
really quite confusing when you watch it.
Yeah,
it
like,
has that kind of
ooh,
mesmerizing
but look at
effect.
the zero line push though, coming out straight by the boys from CSA, not even spotted early. Usually people use like a CS or a BAT to spot this early. Xavi is the only one spotted out. The zero line will be taken by CSA, and that leaves this S-Conk of Lemmy in some trouble actually, if you think about it. Well, if Cosmo crosses through, this Kran needs to run away right now. And does he take damage for this? Lemmy's on the run. Lemmy's a few tanks. Careful, Lemmy. The next one could set you on fire. He's running. He's weaving. Does he get safe? He does. He takes 2 for it though, but the correct play there was to run away, and he did that, which is good. But it also gives a lot of info, though, Mojo. They know that the T100 is not in a bush spot in the camp.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, this is actually a cheap for how little damage actually chess
usually you
managed to run away.
Usually you lose a tank on this crossing.
Yeah, but also like we have Leopard now on this K line, who is trying to see what's going on, but he can never see light come and go. He can never do that. And I don't think he would even see a medium leave.
No, he would. If he plays the bush on the right, he will see a CS leaving from K0. That he will, because the distance is too close. He might not see the second CS leaving, the one in H0, but the other one he should.
Well, we will see for sure very soon, because I seriously doubt they will push that side at all with CSA. CSA took all the positions they were caring about, actually. And we have kind of a 2-pronged attack from chess. 4 tanks on upper side. Double ISs having some crossfire there, covered by Conk. And Bachat in the back. And we have these 3 guys on a lower side, Leopard, E5, Kran. But to that effect, I don't know. CSA, only thing they have at the moment is a possibility to blind shoot the cap. They can't really spot this Bachat.
Shokesh is capping. Nice way to utilize Shokesh, you know, in the back, sniping. But a nice shot coming out from Toxicon towards Lukin, and now CSA is in a position where they have to make a move, though. And they gotta do it fast, because the cap could always get boosted at some point, but that would be heavy, so that's unlikely. But they have to still do something, and it looks
you
like
can't feel boosted, like even if you sacrifice one heavy in one moment to cover the guy who has like a lot of points in cap. That's not like unheard of. But good decisions by chess at the moment, already rotating Leopard back and pushing more heavies toward the upper side of the map so they can defend the center and they can create effective crossfire. Now, as you said, CSA
Leo's not
does have to
spotting
make
anything,
some
though. Leo's not spotting anything. He's not even
I was
in the
thinking
right
he's
position.
going to actually try to see that.
Yeah, but he will not be seeing them. He needs to be running even further away. Now he has to fall back to F2, I would say, next to the rock there. I think that's his next play. And luckily, the Leo is a very, very fast tank.
Well, he does that without taking any damage. But we still have this Kranwagen and E5 on the center. But they're not alone. They have also Kong behind. It's not like they can be challenged that easily. And the cap is still ongoing. Like, there is no one hitting the blind shot so far.
Yeah, so far there's going to have to be somebody pushing in to get this reset. The T100 looks to be going. The Leo gets spotted out now. I think he may have done a shot of damage towards one of the CSs. Now Combat loses his loader, needs to repair that. 18 seconds. T100 has not been spotted yet, though. Cosma might get the spot here without ever being noticed. That could be crucial for the game here. Cosmo gets spotted now. Shokesh realizes this, instantly abandons the cap, which is the correct play to make at this moment in time. But that leaves Cosmo a little bit exposed here, but takes one shot and gets back out.
But there is no one else to shoot him except Leopard. That's it. So all this time is pretty much lost. 3 minutes, 40 seconds, and they run away with only taking.
Ooh, that's greedy. That's greedy. This is a random play that you make in randoms, but I don't think this is something you do in tournaments. Chakafa. Loading E3 to try and pen the T100 from behind. It's risky. You know, you do 250 instead of 420. It's not something I would go for.
Maybe he had chubby fingers and he just misclicked.
They have 3 minutes though, Mojo. They have to. Then now knowing that many tanks are in 1-2, they have to pressure the north, no, and go for base number 2.
Yeah, this is now exactly in the motion. You can see these checkered tanks gathering up and going toward the combat and looking. And the guys, like they are in conks, they do have great EPM and cooldown, but it's still only 3 of them. The rest of their team is trying to chase behind the CSA, like behind the chess guys, like a posse. But will they be on time? It doesn't look like that.
Well, they first have to kill Lukin here, who's the first bastion of defense. Combat coming from the side, though. He's now getting clipped out by Shokish Chess. Genie gets tracked, gets held, takes the damage, but so far the damage is pretty slit. Chess here trying to survive, gives one to Combat. Shokish will finish it off, but in return, gets picked up by Lukin. Now Lukin will be the next one to fall, but then they have to go for the next Eskunk. And so far, so good actually for Chess, leaving 6 tanks alive. The Leo, though, surviving on a mere 1 shot so far, but surviving. Might be able to do 1 or 2 more shots of damage as Combat dies here. Not that good though. The 419 roll from Crazy Boy there holding. Might overpeak even to try and get the kill on towards Koma. He does. Good there from Lukin. Very important to do so. Now he will die in return. The cap will then get started, but you know, Chess needs to start capping at this point.
And this is good damage done here by Crazy Boy. Chess needs to kill him, of course, which will happen in next 10 seconds. And they need to pressure the cap, as you already mentioned, like less than 2 minutes remaining. Shock is still on full HP. That can be detrimental in a later part of the game. 33 seconds and counting. The Kranwagen holding the upper side of the map, rather alone, falling now to the 4 guys from CSA. 25 seconds to go. It's really questionable. Can they even cap before anyone decaps?
Shokish leaves the cap already, which I think is a correct play to make, but there's still going to be a lot of angles that are going to be able to get resets, and then it's going to be harder for the boys here from chest to cap. Shokish now readjusting towards the north, wants to pick up the T100 actually. Gerapit, I think, misses a shot on towards Sakalito. The cap has now gotten reset. Shokish now pushing Cosmo. Toxic in the meantime goes down actually towards Sakalito. Shokish leaving. Now, the auto aim there not working out, and now has to deal with Xavi as well, which is not possible. He can't kill both of them. He can't kill both. Like, he literally can't.
Yeah. I heard that sentence before somewhere. Anyways, Shokish trying to pick up, and he does pick up Xavi, but now Cosmo is trying to be what he is, a hindrance and pain in a butt, literal pain in a butt of Shokish, because he's gonna chase him down. And this is a kind of a really, really close victory for CSA, unless fire from the heavens doesn't start pouring again or something like that. This is a given round for them. I mean, Chess had a good run in this. It just kind of fell apart in one moment.
The Kran got left behind, kinda. Like, the Kran kind of got left behind.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't go with him. And the second thing, I don't want to be a Drakafa basher here, but you saw how the Leo movement, right? He went from the rock, 1 line, to then A3, right?
Yeah.
In this scenario, when your team is calling that they're pushing north, because I think this call was given quite early, because you could see all the tanks go, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he has to be cutting B line and booking it across with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He does stop damage here, but could be alive. And the Kran getting left behind there as well. And I think also like the...
I mean, their map movement in one moment was really dominant compared to the CSA guys, and then they just threw themselves to shambles for some reason.
But it's also like, so it's the Kran staying behind, don't know why. The Leo not running C line because he has to, if everybody's crossing, like he knows the tanks are in the south, he's not going to take damage. He runs with them, right? But also, for example, Mojo, you know how Chess turned this turret to kill the one Eskunk that was behind him? Crazy War? No, it wasn't Crazy War. Combat? There's no need for this. He should be facing front and trying to survive. And then you also have, for example, Koma leading the charge in an I7 on a 2-shot. Those are like minor details. But Koma doesn't need to push there because it's only one Eskunk. Shokish can come and clip him if needed, right? Because you want to spread the damage. So, in my opinion, the Kran could be alive, the Eskunk could be alive, the Leo could be alive, and the I7 could be alive. Or at least half of them could be alive.
Even with all of those mistakes, if honestly at least Kran was with them, they would have a really good fighting chance. Did they leave him behind maybe to try to make a crossfire between Leo and him? But Leo was on 200 HP. You should just give it up and
because the Leo,
focus your fight.
The Leo didn't really make it to A3. That's why he shouldn't stay there. He either keeps going B-line and crosses the rails, and then he takes maybe, damage, but will survive, or he just goes straight C-line from the rock because the tanks in south can't hit him, and then he survives again. So I think Chess made dominant moves, Mojo, and CSA held on well, but I think Chess lost it for themselves with the mistakes they made.
At the end of the moment, at the end of the day, when CSA realized and they had to push, those 20 seconds may look like eternity when someone is capping, like a really short time or whatever, but it's actually like a lot of time for fast tanks to get a couple of angles to shoot, because it only requires one guy to spot, and there are like 2 or 3 angles. Although they're in a little ditch, there is always 2 or 3 angles to shoot from.
Lineup. So CSA is now attacking 113, I7, 277, double Kong, and double CSs. No bats. Chess. Very, very heavy. Double Crown, double S-Kong, VZ, Bat, and in I7. No T100 for them either, which means that they have to control the rails somehow.
Yeah,
You saw how much CSA
it doesn't
struggled.
look like they're gonna go far down. I mean, it really wouldn't be smart. So maybe with some of these tanks, they will cross the rail and go toward the B1 or something like that, and try to play from there. Budget will be spotting the lower part. You need someone to do that. On the other hand, CSA, let's see what they're predicting. Yeah, they're sending like 1 or 2 guys on upper side of the map toward them, and the rest are going to pressure toward the 2 caps. So does Chess want to actually play a game where they retake the 2 cap? It looks like that.
But they are so far pushed up at their crowns though. Shockish, this spotting run.
Okay, that's a bit risky.
Usually you don't do that one. You usually go for the takes 1 shot of damage.
Okay, he took 1 for pressure.
Usually you
okay.
Usually you go for the bush here. You know, there's a bush up there.
Yeah.
You knock over that, or you play the 3 here that allows you to spot this crossing, so you have an info on that. Or you just go peek up here, so you spot this. You know, I think his run is really risky.
Well, he got away with only 1 shot of damage for the pleasure. Saka finds the Super Kong, who is on 5 line on C5, so he got that info, and now he and Combat are in position where they can push over if they decide. They just need to know where are the rest of the tanks. Like, is there a trap of Chess somewhere along the lower side of the map? But knowing that Kong is there, they also know there is someone on A3, minimum.
Yeah, and then an I7 on A4 probably. Because if you have A3, you need A4, so you know the position of 3 tanks.
But it doesn't look like they're doing much with it at the moment. They're just pressuring the Conk in upper cooldown position.
Yeah, they want to establish G0, but
if they do that, they can actually pressure the 2 cap.
They would have to go with all 7 tanks and push down 0.
Yep. That's why I'm watching like constantly this CS and 113 to see do they actually want to start rotating them back, because VZ, I7 and Conk would be out of the fight if that happens.
Man, even if they would attack 0 line, they would almost... I think this attack on 0 would be a bad one. I think they're almost forced to go like this, you know? If they can suppress this guy from peaking too high, to jump like this and kill those 2 guys here, and then kill the crown on the red line is free as well. Otherwise, if you push from straight 9-0, you get a clip from this crown, who clips towards you here. You get a clip from this crown, who clips towards you here. The Escom comes to play behind, or plays here, and they trade for you pushing down. And then the bot is there as well. So I think that's the worst to push like this. It's complete crossfire if you do.
Yeah, they chose for opposite, for a good reason you explained. And they will pressure the guys on upper side of the map. Well, even with this setup, even like this, the guys who are on 8-9 line will not be able to help them either. It's a kind of dubious setup by Chess here. Those two...
Maybe they don't expect a VZ on A3.
They really can't help each other.
Maybe they really don't expect a VZ on A3 because it's a VZ, you know? Usually people leave tanks like there that are not VZs. Like a Bat, for example, you can leave up there.
Well, the only difference would be like much higher alpha and a bit more armor, but still that position is rather weak. Like in some moments you can do a lot of damage, but when you get spotted, there is several angles you can get shot from.
Look at the rotations though that are coming out. Chess is now pulling back towards the north. Shokish has already pulled back there as well. So they are stacking that quite heavily.
Well, Chess pretty much still plays the same.
He's going back now.
Start. It's just like Shokish going up and down. He's the only connection between the 2 groups of 3 heavies. They have 3 heavies up, 3 heavies down, budget in between.
4 minutes though.
Yeah, 4 minutes, that's a lot. Actually, I mean, the game time is really, really far in. And CSA actually has to make some move now because there will be no further rotations.
The CSs could still leave towards the other side, but the 113, not really. He would be too slow. But I don't think this A-line push is gonna net them a lot. The VZ does 2 clips normally in this scenario, so that's 2k. The I7 does like 3 or 4 shots. That's 2k as well. That's basically 2 out of the 3 tanks they're dead.
Well, there we go. There is a gathering of CSA tanks. Finally, 3 minutes and 20 seconds till the end of the round. They need to do something. They know it. It is going to be a push from 2 sides. They're going to pressure the upper side of the map, but parallel, they're not giving up on a fight on a lower one. But it does look like chess kind of got a hint where the brunt of the forces of CSA will strike, and they are already rotated even one more super con. Now there is a cross. Zavi is going over with the other CS, so him and Cosmo. There is a damage coming from Yakefa.
We missed
did
one
shot of damage,
but
and
now
missed one.
this is actually good from CSA though. If you think about it, they will get this VZ relatively for free because there's not enough damage to pick up either Cosmo or Zavi in return. Yes, Yeskuk in the middle is getting pressured. Cosmo by Toxic, but Jakefa there goes down towards a 1-shot, 68 HP left. I think the 113 should be able to finish him. He does. Froley picks it up, and now they're able to lay waste to Toxic's position as well normally.
But a lot of damage was done also on CSA tanks. They are left on really low HP on both those CSs. Like if Yakefa penned like both of the shells, at least one of these would be dead.
Don't you just do this now with the heavies? Like you go through here, you come like this, and you combine towards here?
Well, it looks like they're doing that, and Toxic is paying the price now for Yakefa being dead because he's being shot by CSs he can't even see anymore in the side of the turret. And if he doesn't turn off for them, then he gets pressured by Crazy War. So it leaves only IS7 who is far ignored, and we can see the conspicuous T1 spectator flying in the air.
He's always watching. In return, though, Chess is making a move here by themselves. Killer Pit and Lemmy are pushing on towards Lukin. Shokish is trying to pick up Sakalito by himself, but there is Crossfire coming out. I don't know if he's able to do it. Shokish in the face hug here against Sakalito. Sakalito about to come off reload there. This time not getting set on fire whatsoever. Saka does not go down. The low roll from the crowd, and now Killer Pit trying to clip out Lukin, but Lemmy wasting his shots on Sakalito, and now Lukin is like, yo, both these crowns are reloading. Sakalito, let's go get him, dude. Killer Pit's like, Lemmy, why did you betray me? Shock is there going probably preemptively. Both crowns needed to combine onto the position of that Skunk of Lukin and actually pick him up. Kolma is still alive, but TSA has base number 2 to cap with 3 people, and that should be all she wrote. And this is also kind of why I prefer something maybe like a Bat on A2 merger, because the Bat with its 5 shells, he's gonna do 3 or 4 at least, and the VZ didn't even get a second clip off.
Frankly, it's questionable would he do 3 or 4 before disappearing because Bat doesn't have any armor. You saw like even VZ was pretty much decimated.
But it's CSs in speed mode, you know, Mojo? So you can't rely on them hitting you. So if you can angle just towards the 113. So what do you take then? You take a 113 shot if we're doing your clip.
I don't know. I kind of don't like how the chess defended this, mainly because what I said before, they split too much all over the place. 3 guys up, 3 guys down, 1 budget in the mid. I mean, on paper, it looks like you're watching entire map, but in reality, it makes you are weak against decisive push.
They were kind of
and
split.
And this is exactly what happened.
They were kind of split left, right, and everywhere. And nowhere at the same time. I mean, usually what people do as well is when this move comes out, they don't really have time. Normally, when you see a defense on the rails, they don't really have tanks deep zero line. They're like either ready to repush towards the middle, or defending the rails more heavy, so they can like kill the S-Kunk or the heavies on the
this position where
on
this
the middle.
Conk on mid is kind of dubious.
You mean Toxic?
Yeah, the chess.
But usually, what people do is when you play A2 like this or A4, first of all, they play C1. Second of all, even if they don't play C1 and they have A2 and A4, when you get pushed in the north, they usually repush the D line to kill the guys that are playing the middle. So they push onto the S-Kunk and kill him. Or they push the 6-7, the heavies that are there to kill them, and repush the Kong. Because then Toxic, when they push north, just drives over into the middle and starts fighting the Kong 1-on-1, gets some help, and then you play off of that. But now when they're so far committed F0, they can't even do this.
No, I mean like the defensive Kong that was sniping from the start, you know? Like, I understand he did like 1 or 2 shots in the start of the game, but later, if that side gets pushed, there is no defense and life for that tank.
Yeah, that's why usually
He's just like given as a freebie then.
that's why usually when you have that tank there, Mojo, you have to repush the guy in the middle when you get pushed in the north. So you take him and like 2 more and go kill the middle guy, so the Kong can get out of that position, and survive.
Mm.
But when you have 2-3 tanks committed F0, that's not possible, especially when they're crans as well. But even in the end, they could have maybe done something though. Like if Killer Pit and Lemmy combine onto Lukin, right? And they hit their clips. Lukin is dead, normally speaking. He is dead. And Shocker should be killing Saka in return.
Well,
But,
CSA proved us in both games that they're better, let's say, judgment-making team. It doesn't look like in the games they're like overly much powerful than chess, but at the end of the day, they make better decisions in last moments,
the CS
and
move,
they always come on top.
the CS move, the double CS going A3 was perfect actually for what
Yes.
they needed.
It just took them a while to decide what they want to do.
I also think,
but when they did it,
I got
it
a
was
question,
great.
Mojo. Don't you think that it would have even better for Jakafa just to sit more on the left side of the rock, be safe from the middle, give his clip to the CSs, make sure he hits a bolt, and then just ram himself into one of the CSs so Toxic can kill them from the position he was? If you think about it, because it's the CS. He could literally push one out to get shot from behind because they were kind of in a hold down. There's a little hold down there, but if he rams into it, they are not.
I think that's against the basic reflex of 99,
run,
99 players on the server.
Trying to run away and trying to survive, but you're always dead there. Anyways, lineups. That's a lot of 277s. 4 for CSA, a crown, and double CS. Chess, double VZ, double CS. 1 TVP, 1 bat, 1 crown. Light, clip heavy.
Okay, CSA with a really fast setup, but I wouldn't say that chess is also far behind, but they are really clip heavy, as you say. Immediate push by CSA toward the center, immediate push toward the center by chess. It's gonna be like a big rumble in the jungle, straight on the middle.
Straight on the middle is going to be the name of the game for both teams here. Can you see CSA using a CS to boost Froley in the crown into position? Coma's going to split off towards D3, I guess. And what lineup would you favor for this middle fight, Mojo?
The one with the better hold on, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the VZs are going to have to make some amazing work here. Toxic actually taking the hill is a good move. I like it. Froley wasting one of his shells on that Lemmy. A little bit overstaying his welcome, but luckily enough surviving. He needs to get... surviving might be a big word. Lemmy there may have stayed just a little too long. Does he get behind the rock dog? No, Lemmy, where are you going?
Massive mistake there,
Too
man.
long. He stayed too long, and he didn't even do anything.
I mean, if anyone is wondering why was Lemmy there, he's there to try to clip the guy who is trying to climb the hill, but Xavi never did it, while Toxic on other hand from chess did, because there was no one really aiming at him.
The
but
bat from behind.
Lemmy was denied from life and any kind of possibility to run away.
CSA is pushing. They realize Shokish is behind. They're now plowing down the middle. CS Plow is the new nickname. Can they make it work? To fights everywhere. Killer Pit on reload. Chess on reload. Jakafa on reload. All these Clippers are on reload right now. They have nothing to do with the damage anymore. All these single shooters are in different positions. It's Yes is on the hill, and CSA says thank you very much. As at no point Chess is able to really burst things down because they're all reloading. Crown reloading. Double BZ reloading. And the TVP dead already. Now Shukish comes back into the middle, but CSA says thank you very much for coming towards us. Means we don't have to drive towards you anymore. And Shukish now realizes that, yeah, there's 6 of them there, and I am dead. And the round is over.
Killer Pit was so unfortunate that even his head got blown off. So that really didn't help the scene. But even if that wasn't the case, I don't think there would be any difference here. This is a straight mop-up operations for CSA plowing services. Xavi and Saka are going for the Toxic on top of the hill, and that will leave only Koma behind that little rock. And he will not last for long either against these 5 guys.
I think Chess lost either way, Mojo. Even if the CZP doesn't get
Yeah, as I said, like better hold on positions when you
it's also
stalemate.
It's also
I think their side.
I think they can just bully, like they can cross back to us 1-2 and bully the crown out of position. then go on the hill themselves, go kill the band. I think they have a lot of openings in that game. What they could have done after, actually. So I don't know, with this double VZ lineup, and then TVP, and then Kran, it was very light. Because VZs don't really brawl, you know? Like, they don't really brawl in general.
I mean, VZs are amazing if you mix them up with some other single shooters.
And if the game goes for a while.
Well, still, even when, like, since they obviously wanted to split off Shockish from the very start on the other side, they needed some stopping power. But it does look like in that plan to make that stopping power in a start, they took a bit too much of the Clippers. And
yeah, I mean,
with that, they really couldn't
but
survive
like,
anymore.
think about it though. Even if the TVP doesn't die, Xavi was already at the top ramp, right?
Yeah.
What stops Xavi from driving on the hill and fighting the CS from the CS?
Well, only
from,
Koma can shoot him properly.
yeah, so that would just be a 1v1. Shockish, they know he's reloading. They could push him as well and kill him. They had so many openings still, but the pushing over the middle was correct as well, and it was the most obvious one, I guess. Because what are they gonna do? Unless the VCs and Kran are actually able to kill the first one, the second one goes low HP, and then the CSs from the hill killed that one.
They had an overmatch by far.
They needed the
and they had more armored setup by far. So
for this,
there's nothing minus in here.
But for this, they would need a
3-0.
TVP to be alive. And if the TVP is alive, I doubt CASA pushes down the middle like this.
But he wasn't.
No, he wasn't, because greedy.
I don't know, like, would he even be allowed to run away, even if he didn't drive like that?
No, he would probably be dead because he stayed too long. You can only do 1-2 shots, and then you have to immediately be turning and running, like straight. It also is a little bit spawn dependent. So if you have like the far right spawn, like from your orientation of spawn, if you're the far right, you have very little time. If you're the far left, you have slightly more because you get there a few seconds earlier, and a few seconds makes a lot of difference on clip. That's like 2 shells in the TVP. So
I wonder, does it pay off to run like a turbo on TVP?
well, usually,
kind of
usually when you go middle like this, you go turbo. I think I would go turbo, HP, and stabs. You know, if I'm going middle like this, why not?
Well, it's a match point, guys. Possibly a last game of the day. 3-0, CSA versus Chess. Another possible wipe. Third in a row. Like, I didn't expect this. I mean, all of my predicaments didn't come true, of course. Like, I flunked them up, pretty much all of them. This one, I prognose that Chess should be able to take at least one round. But at the moment, they look like in a big disarray.
Well, they do, and CSA is now the one with very light setup. 4 CSs, TVP and double 277. Well, from Chess you have very heavy double 277, a VZ, double Kran, and double CS.
It's a really, really fast setup played by CSA at the moment. Will they try to take the hill with this? I mean, they're definitely taking the lower side.
Oh, already we can see Saka splitting from the pack towards Chess Genie. Saka there is going to have to be in a 1v1, but the good thing about his 277 is when Saka fluffs the shot, he needs to be, at this point, what you need to do is you need to push the CS with your 277 out at times from behind.
He's taking so much damage and he's not giving anything in return.
Because he's not pushing the CS out, because the 277 is such a more heavy tank than the but they're peeking out and taking so much damage. Like the 277 is so much more heavy than
Chess Gini didn't hit 2 shells in a row.
Yeah. Saka also missed one though. But Chess should be able to pick this up slowly, and I think Saka is misplaying here, but CSA is realizing that there's double 277 on the corner that they can be pushing now. They are going towards it. Koma is the focus here, but Chess should be picking up Saka. Saka goes for the facehook, trying to make him fluff another shot. Chess does not. He picks it up clean in the middle. Xavi and Crazy are having a not so great time against the 4 tanks from Chess, but they should be dead already here. Shockish took a lot of damage as well. The Toxic now chasing Xavi. Xavi wants to pick up Lemmy. And that even rhymes. That is amazing. Xavi now in between the rocks. 1-2 still fighting. Middle still fighting. Fights all across the place. Crazy War is going to die against Shockish here. Xavi, Amorax, Jakafa still alive by the skin of his teeth here. playing around with the rocks. Crazy's actually alive as well. How?
I
Did
can't
Crazy
believe how
survive?
these guys are surviving for so long. I'm watching and I still can't believe. Yeah, Cosmo is supporting them, but they're dodging the bullets here between these rocks all the time alone. Xavi making the best plays I could ever see in a while, but Toxic and Lemmy should finish him off.
Yeah,
That's
hopefully.
the fact.
But Xavi is gonna do
But still-
one more. Xavi is gonna do one more here on towards Toxic, make him a one-shot. Toxic does pick it up, but so much damage taken. Now Cosmo is like, I want some. I want some. Broly has one shell left. He will keep in that for Toxic here. Cosmo knows that Lemmy only has one left. Killer Pit kick kills Combat in the meantime. And now Cosmo needs to pick up Toxic, and that's going to be a 1v2. Low HP, and Killer Pit with a lot of HP to play around with. And no, Toxic doesn't connect the last one! He could have made him a one-shot for Killer Pit.
This is actually a big difference now. Killer Pit in
It's a
his
massive
heavy,
difference.
it's 1750 HP, but Killer Pit is attacking team.
Oh, Froley's
Cosmo
gonna...
and Froley are defending.
Froley's stuck behind this rock. Killer Pit just pushes him. Yeah, Killer Pit just pushes him. I don't know why Froley didn't run. Or go on the hill, or play in the middles and the bush so he can actually make his shots. Froley...
Oh,
He's gonna try and play around with the rock bit. I think the 277 might be slightly too fast for that. Oh, Killer Pit picks the right angle. Killer Pit picks the... Killer Pit, the driving! They are luckily enough for him. Probably wasn't pointed that way. Oh yeah, yo, but he still has to play the 1v1 here against Cosmo. Nothing changed in that regard.
dude, I still don't understand why he stayed there with the TVP, but okay.
I don't know either.
That
But
was like a freebie.
now we have some time. Saka misplayed so hard there, by the way. Like 277 is so much heavier than the CS. You know what I mean? Like it's so much heavier. It's but all he has to do, right? If I put the mini map, is so if the CS is here, right? Chess is always gonna kill Saka, right? He's always gonna kill him normally. All he has to do is drive into him and keep pushing him, because Chess can't stop him. And then when he gets here, all of these guys can just one-tap chess and kill him. I mean, you want to know what the best possible play for Saka was? Drive into Chess full speed and push him out. This happens a lot. I don't know why he didn't do it.
I really wouldn't know. I mean, maybe they didn't even plan. Like they just did something on
I
a
don't
go,
know.
and they wanted those guys to help on the middle to snipe more shots. But since they noticed there were so many heavies,
Can you tell me how Shockish died?
They opted for that.
Ooh. Cosmo outspot Killer Pit, doesn't hit the shot.
But he messed up like 2 shots, I think, also. But
Shockish?
to be honest, no. I mean, Saka down.
Oh, yeah.
But Chess Guinea was against him. I think he messed up 2 shots later after also.
Yeah, it was throw against throw. But like, how did Shockish die in the middle, for example?
I have no idea.
Cosmo peeking. Spots Killer Pit. Oh,
Amazing reset
that's-
with no damage taken.
it's that CS turret, man. Sometimes that CS turret. Can you tell me why Killer Pit stayed there when he knows Cosmo's on the hill? Because Cosmo can peek him for free, actually. If he's sitting, he doesn't have the gun elevation. This is an easy W for Cosmo. He needs to do what? How many more resets? Two more resets?
I would say 1 more reset, and if he doesn't take damage, goes for a kill.
Yeah, he could. It's 1 minute 40 to cap alone, so 1 minute 27. Actually, he needs only to do 1 more reset if he waits long enough, Majo. He just has to let the timer tick below 1 minute 40, right? So he needs to wait an additional 45 seconds here, which gives him plenty of time to commit for the reset.
Yeah, if he goes for the long reset, he doesn't have to engage
Yeah,
anymore.
he
After
doesn't.
that.
The Killer Pit can't do anything about it because it's CCS. And he has the HP to fully wide peek it and just hit the shot, you know?
Yeah, just need to aim well.
I don't know why Cosmo would never peek that. Ooh. Cosmo.
Clicker Pit knows where he is.
I like it now, Killer Pit, going a little lower, but Cosmo will just peek over at some point. Can he get the gun depression? Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. A little bit more. Oh,
And Killer Pit can't even shoot anymore without lead.
yeah, look at that. Look at that, dude. Yeah, he just had to go a little sideways to get the gun over the side.
And anger.
Killer Pit can't do anything here. It's a really hard situation to be in. Cosmo could do whatever he wants, basically. He could go anywhere he wants.
Well, there is always fire left, you know? It proved to be a really efficient way to deal with Czech team.
Nice shot
Amazing
there as
shots,
well.
Man. Cosmo playing like a beast.
Is he gonna kill him? Come on, Cosmo. Go for it. Kill him. Jump off. Jump off the hill. Jump
Never
off the
forget,
hill.
Fire.
Killer Pit has 4k damage, by the way. So
It's not like he didn't do the work, but I think the other guys where he was focused way more. Like he came pretty much.
Koma was the first one. It was him and Koma on that corner. It's amazing that they already won that corner. They would have straight lost it if Saka actually just pushed the CS out.
Oh, 42 seconds. He can count on some RNG that CS will not penny first time, but you know, 2 times. Hardly.
The CS in speed mode, Killer Pit can't catch him going around this hill. And we already saw that he can't drive either, so. He's probably gonna hit the.
It's okay. We know each other for many years.
He's probably gonna hit another rock here, dude. Almost.
Counting on a hit in the ass plus fire, but 5 seconds to go. 4 seconds to go. Cosmo doing the run of his life.
Cosmo's not even driving full speed, man. There's no chance for Killer Pit to win that one. Cosmo there coming in clutch. To be fair though, Froley always had to run there as well. There's no reason why Froley couldn't.
This was a fun game to watch, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was so chaotic. It was
mistakes
so many
everywhere.
1 versus 1 and stuff like that, and it's all over the place. It's fun in chaos. I like that.
Damage wise, Killer Pit, strong, Chakafa.
You're really hard on Jakefa today, man.
But am I unjustifiedly hard?
I don't know. Maybe he has like worse internet than you in Belgium sometimes. Who knows?
Whoa. He did say he was teleporting. I love Jakafai. He's a homie, okay, but he has to perform as well. There was a lot of question of Xavi and Crazy Man. I don't know how or what, but
magic.
Those
magic.
Two,
I call it magic.
It's like that.
Seriously.
It's like those rocks are their home and they've lived there forever, dude. And they know how to play around them because somehow.
No, seriously, I think
they
literally
played 4
the match. I mean, everyone else exploited it from the CSA after, but those two kiting like 4 guys from
and then Shokish.
CSA.
I don't know how Shokish died there, for example, in this crown because he was there, and I thought, okay, he's gonna kill him now, and then I look again and he's dead, and I'm like,
Well, Cosmo was shooting from the side all the time,
and then Toxic also. Fluff in the last shot, you may say, oh, it's only 1 shot, but 900 HP. The CS is 390 alpha, right? If I'm not mistaken. Minus 400. It's 500. If he high rolls a little bit, then Cosmo would be a 1-shot for Killer Pit. Now, will Killer Pit catch Cosmo?
He can't peek as much.
Killer Pit hit the shot against the CS when he peeked for one of the resets, right? He hit the shot, but he bounced it. That would have been a completely different scenario as well.
Well, that is a lot to be unspoken for, but this match is over 4-0 for CSA, so they will progress in another day, still staying in lower bracket, of course. But I think that's enough from you and me, and we have our analyst duo who have a lot to say about this game.
Well, hello there and welcome back, and once again my wish is not coming true here. Not a close matchup after all. 4-0 CSA against Chess. And the German team, I guess they tried, but you know, you always know when you get like from a former employer, you get like a letter written, he was trying to the best of his abilities, then you exactly know, yeah, didn't look too good.
Well, to be honest, that's pretty disappointing from the side of Chess, but it was just not the tactics, it was also the players. You had almost every single round a guy that actually made a huge misplay and died. I think Lemmy twice. Maybe there's lack of coordination also in the calling, and it was maybe unclear for inexperienced players like him, but it was very costly because CS said that was clean.
Yeah, CSA, after losing to a Polish team in the upper bracket against Invilgo, I believe, now managing to hang on to tournament life. The same can obviously not be said about Chess. And after day one, we have the following tournament bracket. Match 5 tomorrow is going to be the two winning teams in the upper bracket battling it out. It's going to be Holovnici against Invilgo. And in the lower bracket, the third Invil team, Pozdro, is going to battle it out against CSA. The winner of those is going to play against the loser of the upper bracket final. And then, obviously, we will have the best of 9 grand final match number 8 waiting as the last match tomorrow. First of all, I would like to have a quick recap of you though of the whole day of all 4 matches, and then obviously we haven't talked a lot about the Chess against CSA matchup. We can jump into the replays then.
I mean, we'll have the replays for that. Yeah. Anyway, about all of those matches, no real surprises there, like especially from the side of Holovnici and Invilgo that were dominating and that we expected them to dominate during that tournament, and we're happy to see them facing each other tomorrow. Top 4 teams still in the tournaments. The teams that were from the losers bracket, well, they are gone for now. A bit disappointing from the side of Chess. That could have been the match of the day that was close, but CSA, they were just playing much better than their first match, and they actually took the victory thanks to it. Now that the replays are ready, we can start with the first round. That's actually super risky to take that opening from the side of CSA and push the 0 line straight. You could see that the double CS and the T-Hunda like this, that could be heavily punished from the side of Chess, but the opening was not here for that, so it actually worked. But in return, they actually fully lost and gave up the North. And from the side of Chess, it was good because you could have this cap pressure. They decided to rotate their whole team over the North, the Leo, the E5, and the Crown, with Shokish capping with this bad shot. So good opening from the side of Chess to counter what CSA was doing. But then after these rotations from the T-Hunda, there was time liking maybe, and the tanks that didn't all follow the rest on the North, and that was costly for them.
Yeah, I think Jackafa, he could have spotted the field better there with the Leo. He didn't see the T100 until it was too late. Yeah, you can argue about this shop being greedy on the T100 with HE. And then in the end, Chess, they need to do something, so they force collapse onto the eastern tanks that CSA has. The problem is the Leo, it doesn't really make it up to A3, so it bleeds a lot of HP for it. One shot already. Lemmy in the Kranwagen, not sure why he stays there. Just left out in the open. He could contribute to the push here or something. Which then would probably mean that Kolmar wouldn't die. Just seemed disjointed here.
Well, look at this, Crazy War with on his own here, but he still did a lot of damage, and that was just good for his team because you had this Leo and this Crown that didn't fold the rest of the team, as you said. But next up, Chess was on the defense. This map is considered to be very deaf-sided, right? So they had to pick that round to get back into that match. But there's something I would like to point out. This is very splitted. I don't like this tactic from the side of Chess. This C5 S-Conk, it doesn't work if you don't actually contest the rail all the way till C1. Or you would need to have control over the 890 and actually push off that guy on D4, that S-Conk. They didn't do anything. They basically had Jekefa with his VZ55. He made 2 shots, 1 connecting, 1 miss, and then he's gone, he's dead. And next up is the S-Conk on C5 that is just free to take. There's no answers from the side of Chess, so CSA were just free rolling this, taking their time and picking up tanks.
Yeah, and here now in game number 3, we see 2 openings here with both teams committing all but everything to the middle. We see the CS Coma being split off, same for Shockish in the bat chat. But the problem here is for Chess that CSA recognized there's a couple games tanks out of the fight. Lemmy here also with a full clip, only 1 shot connecting, and then he just gets blown up for free. And at this point, CSA, they have the gun overmatched. They recognize it. They just drive in. Shockish out of game. The CS cannot share HP. And yeah, just good seizing of the situation by CSA.
Well, to be fair, Lemmy didn't expect that. They had 1 tank to pick up almost for free. Good adaptation from the side of CSA. They had a pretty bad tactic in the group stage against, I think it was Invil Goal. They were utilizing a CS on the ramp. They changed it with a Crown that works much better. And yeah, they saw Shockish behind them, overmatch, they're moving forward. They take those VZs out. Those VZs, they are great, they have good burst damage, but when they are on the reload, what are they doing? Not much, right? So CSA just going all on the middle, picking the tanks 1 by 1, and just showing dominance.
Indeed, and the opening that Chess did, they probably expected some sort of one-line presence by CSA, which just wasn't there. And now CSA here in the last game, I agree with Ducky. Sakalito should have just pushed out Chess Genie. This way he dies for it, but it really didn't matter in the end, because now Killer Pit and Coma drive in, and the TVP from CSA, it arrives just in time to trade 1 shot of damage for 1 whole clip onto Coma even.
I mean, yes, Saka, he has to utilize that RAM capability with the 277. He has to connect all the shots on that range. But to be honest, it was just a clown fiesta on the mid. Look at this, 4 tanks from the side of Chess, 2 from the side of CSA, and they actually played it so well with the support from the donut of Cosmo. They actually baited them around those rocks. It took a lot of time to actually kill Crazy Toxic, didn't know if he had to help, if he had to kill him on the ramp. And it was just really well played from the side of CSA. Obviously, their opening was not the greatest against what Chess did, and Chess should probably, if they played better, if they would actually hit more shots, win that game. But CSA, they actually proved to be experienced and having a good team play on that game, and that's how they actually turned it.
Yeah, the team of Chess here, I have to say, their camo, I like that one the most in the whole tournament. Out after 1 match here, and we see Killer Pit in his vain struggles against Froley and Cosmo both. He is going to pick up Froley there, even though he does a little bit of a oopsie against the stone, I guess. But yeah, Cosmo just playing this so well here, getting lucky by bouncing 1 shot. I think this is the situation. Yeah, exactly. We see the CS turret once again proving its trollish nature, and then from here on out, as soon as he gets the reset shot, there is no realistic way for Killer Pit to get back into this.
Definitely. I mean, You could even see at the end they were having a lot of fun just going around that position. But as you mentioned, Killer Pit a bit unlucky with that bounce on the CS. If he would drop him on a one shot, he could possibly sit in the cap where he would have the gun elevation to actually get the killing shot on Cosmo. So when we saw that bounce, we knew that it was kind of over, unlike Cosmo would just overpick and drop off the hill. So good stuff from CSHS, just not performing, disappointing us today. But we have to also thank them for reaching the playoff stage like Lost Peoples did.
Yeah, I guess the content that they provided us did not get an extension, at least on this stream. And this, as you said, leaves us with 4 teams still remaining in the tournament. It is Pozdro and CSA in the lower bracket, and in the upper bracket we have Holovnitsi and Invil for the first battle of tomorrow. So tune in at 4 PM once again to find out who is going to win the VOD7 and number 4 tournament. And that being said, I'll leave the last words to you.
You have to be here tomorrow because we're going to have Holovnitsi against Invil Go, and that may be one of the biggest clash we ever had in VOD7 tournaments.
So see you then.